Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mental Health Talk with Christina McIntyre. I hope that your week has been the best that it could. If things didn't go the way that you planned them to, let's not worry about yesterday. We can only focus on now and prepare for the future. Um, don't forget to visit my website, www.becomeyourseed.com, where I talk about our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual aspects of ourselves to help you towards your true identity. Also, follow me on Instagram, Become Your C. I'm about to curse. Become Your C. I talk about poetry and other information on there as well. Facebook, BYC, Become Your C, and YouTube, BYC, Become Your C. Also on TikTok at Become Your C. My book is out, 21 Poems to Ignite Your Spiritual Journey. It's called Become Your C. So if you're interested, there's a link on my Facebook page, Christina McIntyre. If you're interested, it does open your mind. It does challenge you to think outside of the box. I think it's important that we sometimes challenge ourselves and go above and beyond what we're used to and change our way of thinking. Also, I have some updated jewelry, chakra jewelry for sale as well. If you're interested, you can always message me or you can order it through my website. And I created these items to help people on their journey as well. You know, I believe strongly in the chakra system of healing. Definitely has helped me navigate through my life and helped me on my journey towards healing and self-discovery. And so I offer this to you as well. And if you're interested in talking about the chakras, if you want to know more information, you can always message me on that as well. So for me, the holidays are coming up, so I wanted to see if anyone wanted to get together and put something together for the homeless in our community. I am willing to bake because I do bake. If anyone else wants to cook or donate some things, you can message me. We can get together and sit down and talk and have a conversation. I definitely think it's important to make sure those that are out there suffering, that they know that someone cares about them, even if it's a little bit at a time. The more that we do for others selflessly, the more we get back abundantly in different ways. And so definitely message me if you're interested. I want to get this thing moving because it's already October, and it takes time to prep and gather things together. Um, Suicide Awareness Month was last month, but I'm going to give you the number just in case you feel like you're at the end of the rope, that you need some more help, that you need someone to talk to in confidence and don't have to worry about it. The suicide hotline is 1-800-273-8255, or you can always visit them at suicideprevention.org. I know what it feels like to think that suicide is the last option, and I want to offer you another way out. I know life can get heavy sometimes, and that we feel like everything is on our shoulders, and suicide sometimes seems like it's the best option. And you just have to think about what you're leaving behind. I know it doesn't seem like you can pull yourself out, but you can. Life can get better, and it does get better. You just have to put the work behind it. So definitely reach out on those sites or join a group that can help you and figure out a plan for your life, whether it's therapy, through medication, through holistic healing, even through religion. Find some way to help you bring peace in your life so that you know that you matter, because you do have purpose and you do definitely belong here. And so this leads me to my topic for this week. So this week I wanted to talk about, how does planetary retrograde affect our mental health? This is more of on a spiritual level, but it definitely does affect everyone. So when planets are in retrograde, they give off different effects to our bodies, and so we feel a certain type of way. And so we might be feeling things that we never felt before, or we feeling exhausted and stuff. And this is because the planet is in retrograde right now. Jupiter is in retrograde. It started in June. It ends on October the 18th. And so what retrograde means is the planet is moving backwards. And so when it moving backwards, anything that changes, right? You have to think of it like this: anything that requires change definitely affect us in some way. when we require ourselves to change, sometimes we get frustrated, we get stressed out. Everything that is outside there is also inside of us. That's what I truly believe. And so anything that's in the universe is affecting us internally. And so we have to pay attention to the signs, because we may be feeling under the weather and not knowing what's going on. And it's important to know these things so that we can kind of prepare for it if we're feeling not like ourselves, or if we're feeling like nauseous or anything else. You have to pay attention to what's going on around us. Mental health is affected by a lot of different things, our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, biological, chemical, and also environmental. And so if it's environmental, everything that goes on around us is also affecting everything that's inside of us. Um, and so paying attention to these signs will help you to be able to navigate through it much easier. A lot of times we are in retrograde. Someone posted something. I'm like, didn't we just go through a retrograde? Now we're still in one. I definitely feel the effects of it. I've been nauseous lately, headaches, migraines, head pressure, chest pressure, body aches. My legs feel swollen, my feet, and that is what I'm going through. And so having mental health issues and going through these physical symptoms can um, drive you. It seems like it's driving you a little bit crazy. It can have you thinking in ways like, oh, what's wrong with me? Is something going to happen to me? And so it challenges whatever mental health issue you have. You start to think in the negative. And so I'm trying to put you in a way that you start thinking positively, or trying to map out a plan so that you will be able to go through this smoothly. Like it definitely happens to us because it's trying to challenge us to become better than what we are right now. So when planets are in retrograde, we feel certain things. We may feel more or less energy. So if you are one of those people that are affected by it, you may find yourself tired lately, especially for me when it rains. Um, it can do two things to me. It can either affect me negatively, where I'm feeling extremely exhausted, tired, I just want to sleep. Or if I go out in the rain, this is a grounding exercise as well. Grounding helps you reconnect with the earth and everything else. Um, Going out in the rain and allowing the rain to rejuvenate you is one of the healing properties of rain, but it can also have a negative effect. So more or less energy, um, you're feeling lethargic, restless, and anxious. So when the planets are in retrograde, again, that's moving backwards. Um, it causes us to feel out of place and out of balance. And so that anxious feeling coming into place, if you already suffer from anxiety and panic, you know that anything that makes you anxious is going to cause your mind to go into a negative space, right? You're going to think that something is wrong with you. You're going to feel heart palpitations. Your hands may feel numb or clammy. Your body will ache. You'll start to have tremors, and then you feel dizzy, right, and lightheaded. So if you're feeling like this, take some time and reflect and see what's going on in your life as well. Your emotions will go havoc, right? So your emotions is gonna go up and down, right? You're gonna feel crazy, like I said, like you're losing your mind. You may feel sad, you may feel depressed, you may feel angry, and you not knowing what's going on. And that's why I challenge you to learn a little bit about the chakras, because it talks about this as well. And so I believe sometimes when these things happen internally, they're challenging us to look deep within to see what we need to do in our own life, right? It makes us focus about what's going on in our life that we need to change, um, around us, also inside of us as well. Our skin, again, and our body may be affected. So if you notice some changes in your skin, you have blotches, dark circles around your eyes, your skin feels more dry, it's because the planet is in rotation. Also, anxiety and stress. Again, you may feel like you're under an enormous amount of stress, right? More than normal, right? Life is most of the time stressful, right? We get up Every day we go to work, we take care of our household. If we have children, if we have businesses, like it can be stress. But now if it's feeling overwhelming, right? If you feel like you have too much on your shoulders and it's causing you um, to be more overwhelmed than normal. So what you can do in that moment, you have to stop and you have to think and you have to reflect. You have to figure out what can you do in that moment. And I like this quote that I always say, what I can control, and if I can't worry about it, right? Sometimes we over worry ourselves, especially things that we can't control, and it's hard, especially what's going on in the universe. We can't control how the planets rotate or when they're going to rotate. They just do that. And so what we can control is what's going on inside of us. Like we can take control back. If we feel ourselves getting anxious, I was feeling like this morning. I started feeling nauseous. I didn't know what was going on. I thought, the morning was going great, and it just happens all of a sudden. And that's what happens. You'll feel fine during the retrograde, and then you go through periods where you don't. And so what I had to do is I had to focus and breathe. And what I do is I hum and I whistle and I send vibrations. And then I also have a video or music meditation that I listen to bring my body back to where it needs to be, because music, especially certain types of meditation music, sends vibrations to our cells, and so they react to the vibration of the music. And so when you're going through these stressful periods or these anxious periods, if you listen to music that is effective for your body, it will definitely bring you back into an alignment. Digestion issues, again, if you feel more nauseous than normal, your stomach is starting to hurt, you're having cramps and pains, it may not be nothing that you're doing. It just might be because the planet is doing its retrograde thing. And so we have to pay attention to what we're putting into our bodies as well, especially during this transition period. If you're having digestive issues, stay away from those things that can actually harm your digestive system, such as like sometimes spicy food can trigger it. Also, dairy products and caffeine can be it can have a negative effect as well. So during this transition period, they urge you to eat a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables because again they're beneficial to our health as well. Um, Again, meditate. Exercise is important. It's important on a day-to-day basis, but especially during this time period, trying to take your mind off of what's going on the outside. And that's the thing, especially during these retrograde periods, especially when you have mental health, is trying to take your mind off of what's happening, because sometimes our minds can play tricks on us and having us think like, let's say we get a shoulder pain. Oh no, a shoulder pain, it may be my heart. Oh, am I having a heart attack? Or am I having a stroke? Your mind starts to go down this list of things that could be wrong, and it may not, it may just be a pain in your shoulder. So definitely try to shift your focus onto something else, even if you like playing um, games on your phone or doing puzzles. For me, sometimes when I'm stressed and I bake, it takes my focus off of what's going on in that moment. A lot of times, what's happening to our bodies, especially during the retrograde period, it's momentary. And so we have to figure out what we can do in a moment to make it pass. Um, Also, relationships will be affected during this retrograde period. So, if you're having a lot of issues in your relationship, it may be because the planets are moving backwards. Not saying that there isn't something that you need to address in your relationship, right? So during this period, especially when Jupiter is in retrograde, try not to argue as much, but try to have effective communication. And it may be a struggle during this time, especially depending on the person. Some people are more opinionated than others. Some people don't know how to listen. So definitely try to have effective communication as possible with your partner. Try to understand from their point of view. Try to sit back and listen, and then be heard as well. And try not to do nothing too detrimental right now, especially they said avoid doing breakups during this period, because it may not be what you want. So definitely communicate, but also be aware during this period, a lot of betrayal and cheating, they said, is going to be happening. So I'm not saying, we can't forgive people, but if certain things are happening that's causing you stress, again, because stress during this time can wreak havoc on our bodies, you need to um, reevaluate your life, right? And this is a period of transition and reevaluation and getting rid of things that doesn't serve your growth. So even though your relationship is being affected by the retrograde, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stay in that situation. Do things accordingly. If you're in a relationship that is not helping you out or growing or adding value to your life, you may need to reevaluate that relationship, your position in it, and that person as well. And again, during this period, you may feel like your efforts aren't proving progress, right? Sometimes we feel like we're doing a lot of things and we're not getting anywhere, like we're not progressing as we ought to be, and so we feel just defeated, right? We feel like giving up. We feel like, what's the purpose of me doing this if it's not getting anywhere? Do not make any drastic decisions right now. Sit back and reflect and think about things and where they're going. Just because something isn't working out the way that you thought it would, maybe you have to sit down and think of another solution. There are multiple solutions to one problem. You just have to find one that works for you. It's all about growth. Everything that happens outside of us, inside of us, is about growth. It's prompting us to figure out different ways to navigate through life. And so during this period, that's what it's urging you to try to figure out a different way to navigate through life. Those were some of the negative effects of the retrograde. So I'm gonna list some positive effects of the retrograde. So some positive things. It's forcing us to be realistic, right? Some people live beyond their means. They live in a false reality, right? They think things are one way, but they're not. They're actually this way. So we have to be more realistic, not with just everyone around us, but ourselves. Sometimes we lie to ourselves to make ourselves feel better or to make us look more important. We are not in competition with anyone but ourselves. We don't need to lie to ourselves, especially. And so when we learn how to live in reality, we can create our own reality for us. But if we're so focused on proving our point or proving someone else that we're better than someone else, we can never get to the point that we need to be, because we're constantly, one, comparing to ourselves to others. So we need to focus on the reality of any situation, focus on the now, focus on ourselves. I think a lot of times we're trying to constantly change someone or prove someone wrong, or pointing a finger, that we don't look in the mirror and point the finger back at ourselves and do the work that we need to do to get to where we need to be. People will help us in life, but if we're not willing to help ourselves or adjust ourselves, then what do we expect? We can't expect someone else to always do the work for us, especially internally. Internal work is meant for you to do on your own, and a lot of us don't want to do it because, yes, it is painful. It is a crappy process. Like, I've been going through it for about 2 years now, and it's not easy. You feel like giving up. You feel like staying the way that you used to be or doing things the way that you used to do. Some people are okay with being stagnant, and that's fine. But then when your life is not progressing the way that you want it to be, who's at fault here? So definitely pay attention. Also, it's forcing us to do an internal reflection. I already discussed that as well. During these periods, we definitely need to look more internally. What do we need to heal? What do we need to let go? What is it about ourselves that we need to change, right? I think some of us are okay being how we are. Not that you have to change your personality. Everyone is unique in their own way, and we're supposed to be. But if, like, people don't want to be around you, or you're finding yourself always angry, things not going your way, maybe you have to sit down with yourself and change some of the behaviors and habits that you have. It's helping us get things in order. and also putting attention to what's important in our life. That's what this retrograde is teaching us. A lot of things are happening right now, but definitely what's important to us and in our life. And I'm talking about things, environment, and people as well. Sometimes we're in situations or in places and have people in our lives that not meant to be there, and we're afraid of change, and so we stay longer in relationships that we need to be, that doesn't add to our growth, that's not giving us what we need, that's not adding, I just said that, that's not beneficial to us. And so sometimes uh, we get stressed out and depressed because we're in situations that we don't need to be. Sometimes we need to push ourselves to get where we want to be, where we want to have who we want. But we're so used to failing, we're so used to the negative that we can't see the positive. So definitely, let's get things in order. It's challenging us to improve our communication. Some people are not good at communication. I suck at communication sometimes. I am working on it. I think I'm getting better at it as I challenge myself more. I know that's an area that I never really was great at, but I know that I need to be in order to have things effectively move in my favor. And so I'm trying to work on ways of communicating better, especially in relationships. A relationship can't work without communication, not just a personal relationship, but like a business relationship. So being able to effectively communicate, get both people their wants and needs met, but you have to do it in a way that is positive, a way that both people are heard. And so definitely work on this. Let's see. And then again, it helps us not worrying about things that we have no control over. And it helps us stay focused, right? And this period of transition is supposed to bring about good luck. You have to, though, first work on what's going on inside, and not allowing not allowing the physical symptoms to stop us from keep moving forward. I know it can be overwhelming, especially if you are having massive headaches and migraines. Migraines, they're painful and they affect the rest of your body, especially if you're feeling like you don't have any energy. Just keep pushing yourself forward. If you have to drink a little coffee to pep yourself up, by all means do it. If you can't have coffee, there are energizing smoothies that you can drink to help your energy level. Whatever you do, just don't stop moving forward, right? Do something that progress forward. Take this time to one, yes, rejuvenate. If you need to take a nap and relax, do so. By all means, provide your body with the best support possible, but also don't forget to do the internal work. You can't move forward in life if you're still holding on baggage, and this is internal baggage. Like no one sees this but you, and you are the only one that know it exists. So if you're allowing those old memories and those things to hold you back, you need to get rid of them. And I'll talk about cleaning out your closet, right? So we must clean out our closet. We must face those things that bring us pain and torture, and we must let them go. Um, Someone was talking about how we have old pictures or old, like we may have old clothing or knickknacks and stuff that we held on from the past. We need to let that's part of cleaning out your closet. We need to throw these things away. We need to let these things go. We need to get rid of these things. We can't create a positive space if we still have negativity in there. So definitely do the work necessary to get rid of them. Now, it is a process. It's going to take you time, but anything that's worth having is worth doing. So start somewhere. Start today, and slowly do it. A journey is meant for the individual and not for everyone else. Do this for yourself. Do this because you want to improve your overall well-being and not for a show. Also, the two main disorders, right, the mental health disorders that is affected by this retrograde is people that have schizophrenia and bipolar. So schizophrenia affects the ability to think, feel, and behave clearly. And then bipolar is period of elevation and depression. So bipolar is like you're really excited and happy, and then you're really sad and depressed. And you can have those both combined, and having them both combined definitely can wreak havoc on your body. So especially during this period, if you do suffer from schizophrenia or bipolar, pay attention what's going on inside your body. If you're on medication, maybe you need to have a talk with your doctor, and figuring out if this medicine is still effective for you or not. If you're in therapy, talk to your therapist about ways that you can deal with what's going on inside of you. And if you choose the holistic approach, sit down with yourself and meditate. Take a journal out. I started writing about things that was going on inside. And I believe that everything that we write down, we can let it go. I also do some things. Sometimes I burn things like paper, right? You write it down, you let it go, and do it safely, though. But definitely figure out a way that you can learn how to effectively let things go so that you can move forward in your life. Again, ways to combat this. I said clean out your closet and make a plan for your life. And this is most important. I think sometimes we just go through life without no clear direction, and we just exist. And life is too short to just exist. We need to live. And whatever living means to you. Living doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I have a lot of money. That's going to make me happy and bring me peace. No, because there's a lot of rich people that are unhappy. You have to figure out what brings you happiness and peace. And if a lot of money does that, okay, you need to do the work behind it. But you can't do the work behind it if you don't do the work that's on the inside. Being able to communicate, being able to have relationships that's positive, being able to surround yourself with positive energy. And you got to make sure that you're not the one that's bringing the negative energy too. And I think that's important as well. I think a lot of times we focus on the outside, and we don't realize that we're the ones that's causing chaos in our own life. And that's basically all that is. A lot of times we don't pay attention to what's going on in the outside. We don't think it affects us, but everything around us affects us. And so we have to be able to do that work, and be able to pay attention to the signs, and knowing that whatever is out there is also in here, and whatever happens out there happens in us. And if you suffer from mental health issues, it's definitely worse for us, but it can also be beneficial. You got to choose which side you decide to gravitate towards, and definitely pick the positive side, because it is some positive that comes out of it. If you do the work, if you do the internal work, if you do self-reflection, if you meditate or pray, same thing to me, and you write out a plan, and you get rid of those unnecessary things that's in your life that you're holding on to, it definitely will come out to be beneficial toward you. Not saying that you're not going to go through these pains. To me, they're growing pains. They're challenging us to think better, right? To think outside of the box and to improve the quality of our life, because life is limited while we're here. And so we need to make the most of it. We need to live before we become non-existing anymore. So that's my final thoughts. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Again, don't forget to visit my website, www.becomeyourc.com. Follow me on Instagram, Become Your C. Facebook, BYC Become Your C. YouTube, BYC Become Your C. Also, if you're interested in learning about the chakras or the jewelry I have, or the book that I have out, you can click the link on my page, and you can always message me. Again, if you're interested in helping out the homeless during these holidays, you can message me. We can have a meeting, get together, and see what we can do to help out. Remember that everything that is out there is in us. Everything around us affects us. Be mindful of what you allow. Be challenged to be better. Till next time.